Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Something You Can Afford. Last month I was shopping around for a washing machine. I'm in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm a bit of a late bloomer, so I look more like a 23-year-old, but I'm 32. Also, I'm a photographer, and I dress for comfort, so I more often than not look homeless. I looked up what I wanted online and saw it was available at one of the major chains. But since I was free, I decided to go to the store in person. I went straight to the section with laundry equipment, and one of the salesmen came to me. I was busy checking out the model I wanted, opening the door, reading the spec sheet and whatnot. So after he greeted me, we started talking about it. He asked if I'm interested in buying it, and I told him I'm considering it and asked for the price. It was just shy of $900, I knew from their website. But since I was in the store, I asked if they had in-store discounts or discounts for return customers and inquired about their payment plans. I had bought a cooker there a few months before, so I knew all these things existed. And while I could afford to buy the washer outright, it would have left me a little cash strapped, and I wanted to spread the payment over 2 or 3 weeks. Also, I'm frugal, so I always look for discounts. At around this time, a well-dressed couple came into the same section, probably looking to buy something as well. As soon as the salesman saw them, he walked to them and left me hanging. I called to him like, "Hey, I wasn't done." And he said, "I'm serving our client now. I'll come back to you in a bit. In the meantime, look around for something you can afford." I was furious, but I'm a bit of a coward, so I walked away and went to the customer service station and started making my inquiry all over again. The attendant offered to call a sales agent for me. The same guy. Apparently he's the go-to guy for washing machines. But I declined. I told her I already knew what I wanted and I just needed someone to help me with the paperwork and payment, and I'll be on my way. She did just that. I paid the full amount out of spite. And as we were finishing up, the salesman came up to her claiming I was his client, which I denied, and the attendant listed herself as the sales agent. It turns out they earn a 10% commission from each sale, and the guy just missed out on a decent bonus. Salesmen earn around $300 plus commissions monthly. As I left, I turned to him and said, "Turns out I could afford it with the biggest grin I could muster." Felt good. Best part? The couple he ditched me for left without buying anything. The next story is called Work Hours Are Work Hours. I work in a demanding industry. As a result, barely anyone in my department takes their unpaid 1-hour lunch break in full or at all, including myself. Most everyone just eats at their desk while working, including me. A lot of people work unpaid overtime as well, including me. For me, it was about 1 to 2 hours this week on my day off unpaid overtime to get on top of the work. The manager/boss knows this happens. They see it occur on a daily basis, but don't contest it because, you know, free labor. Recently, the boss sent around an office-wide email for a select few that stated, "Work hours are work hours." The email said they expect everyone to be at work 10 to 15 unpaid minutes early to get a coffee and start work on the dot. They also said that the end of your work shift is when you stop working and that you can't pack up anything prior. If you have a cup on your desk, you have to wait until your work ends on the dot to put it in the dishwasher. Doing this 2-minute task prior to the end of your shift is not acceptable. There was more to the email, but it's not relevant. I'm certain this email is partly directed at me, because I arrived to work only a few minutes early, grab a cup of tea, takes 1 minute, they have instant hot water, and then start working. I also asked to leave 10 minutes early last week, used 10 minutes of my unpaid break to attend an appointment, which was met with discontent from my manager. Cue this week and the email that followed. Now, this would be a reasonable policy if there was any form of time theft happening, but it's the complete opposite. They are well aware that their employees are working through their lunch breaks and working overtime to stay on top of the high workload and essentially provide them with free labor. Therefore, demanding employees come in early and remain strapped to their desk until the clock strikes at the end of the workday is not a reasonable policy. It's just demeaning and glossing over the fact that they are getting free labor on a daily basis from dedicated employees. So today, as a response to this email, I took my full 1-hour break for the first time in literally months. I sat in the break room on my phone for 1 hour. This resulted in a manager walking past, seeing me doing this and looking very unimpressed. They are used to seeing me sitting in my office working in between bites of food as a break. They walked past a second time while I was still in the break room, this time completely avoiding my gaze. I have decided what to do moving forward to continue this. From now on, I will come into work 5 minutes early and sit at my desk on my phone until my phone alarm signals that it's time to start working. I will take my unpaid break for the full 1 hour during the day rather than sit at my desk working through this unpaid time. In a month when they are used to me taking my full unpaid break, I will work through the day and take my 1 hour unpaid break exactly 1 hour before the end of my workday. So I will not return to the office after my break, because my workday has ended. There's nothing in our contract that dictates when we can or cannot take our break. The last story is called "They Wanted to Save $10." In 2019, I started working for one of the major airlines in my local airport as a baggage handler. I absolutely loved the job. I just enjoyed being around planes from the ground level. When I started, there were no full-time positions available, so I was working part-time 6-hour nights 5 times a week. The way it usually works is each gate has a lead and a few baggage handlers. The lead had extra training to do the load planning and scanning and towing the planes to the runway as well as guiding them in. Now, I had only been there a few months, but I was working hard and showing that I was a team player. I decided I was gonna try to become a lead, even though they usually want you to work a year or so as a handler first. I was confident and ended up passing the training course with ease. The problem was that they had no availability for more leads. So I was put into what was basically an on-call lead kind of thing, where they could upgrade me for the day if they needed more leads. Now, whenever they upgrade you to lead, even if it's for a single flight, they have to pay you the extra $175 per hour leads get for your whole shift. Remember, I worked 6-hour days, so $10.50 is the cost to make me a lead for my shift. For a few months, everything was great. I was a part-time baggage handler, but I was working as a lead for my whole shift every shift, and I was loving every second of it. Something about towing huge planes full of people to the runway was just awesome to me. Then came 2020. Within months, the airline industry is tanking pretty hard, as nobody wants to travel and get stuck somewhere. Supervisors are being told to cut costs everywhere they can, which makes sense given the circumstances. Cue up the night of this incident. It's maybe 11 PM and I'm on till 1 AM. Supervisors have sent a large chunk of workers home, and those of us left are being sent all over the airport to cover the flights we do still have coming. I get a call from the office that assigns your flights, and I'm told to go grab a box and a walkie. This is the stuff needed to plug into the plane to talk to the flight deck. They tell me to head to the gate, the flight is landing in 5, and to just put in my request for lead. When asked to be a lead, you put it in on the company app, and a supervisor approves your pay raise for the day. I get to my gate, check the load coming off the plane, brief the handlers on what's coming down, and we all get to our spots to bring the plane in. I see the plane coming down the lane to my gate, and at the same time my zone supervisor drives up to my gate and asks me to come over. He then tells me something along the lines of, "Hey man, we can't upgrade you to a lead right now, we just can't swing that extra expense right now." I respond with, "Okay, so who's going to bring this plane in?" Nobody else on the gate is lead trained, and supervisors are not allowed to do any of our work because of the union rules. He then tells me he is going to go find another lead to bring it in and to just assist him when he arrives. So I'm like, sure, whatever. It's important to note that planes have very tight metrics for how long it can take to bring a flight in, unload and reload for the next flight. The flight pulls up to the edge of my gate and comes to a stop as there's no lead there guiding them in. So the flight just sits there waiting, and the entire gate crew is also just standing around waiting. 20 minutes go by and my radio I still have on me goes off, and the office is angry. They want to know why I'm holding this flight short and not bringing it in. What do you mean? The supervisor told me they couldn't afford to pay me for lead work today and that he would find someone else. He then asked me if I can please just bring it in for him. I said, "Sorry, but if you're not willing to pay me to do the lead work, then I'm only going to do the handler work I'm being paid for." As it turns out, they sent too many leads home this night, and the ones they did have were all busy on flights already. After about 45 minutes, a lead from 2 terminals over finally scrolls up and we are able to unload the plane as usual. But that 45 minutes the plane sat idle at the gate cost thousands in extra fuels, plus overtime for flight attendants forced into mandatory overtime from the situation. Not to mention all the passengers who were angry from the extra wait, who were all compensated some credits with the airline for the trouble. I also come to find out the supervisor's bonus was based on flight turn time, and this 45-minute short hold probably cost him his bonus and a write-up. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.